Here is what's coming up in today's Frontline compilation. A Russian squad darts through shattered buildings, believing the ruins will shield them. But overhead, Ukrainian operators lock FPV drones onto their every step. Helmet cam footage drops us into a close quarters fight where Ukrainian rangers weave through Kursk trenches, rifles snapping. How did they sweep a dozen defenders in minutes? Armored carriers rumble forward, unaware the field ahead is mined. One by one the vehicles vanish in smoke. Why do they keep driving into the same deadly path? Burning vehicles litter the Siversk line as a Russian assault stalls. Survivors scramble under drone fire. This is real footage. No effects, just raw moments from the battlefield. Subscribe to stay updated on every Frontline report and stick around to see it all unfold. Let's get into it. GoPro footage captures a lone Ukrainian soldier caught in sudden mortar fire on open ground. The first shell detonates directly ahead, throwing earth across his path, yet he only shifts into a light jog and continues toward his objective. As he approaches a built-up block of houses, the incoming rounds keep falling in front of him, each burst marking his route through the impact zone. Without breaking stride or taking cover, he follows the street towards safety, while the Russian crew wastes rounds trying to adjust. Drone video begins with a wounded Russian infantryman raising his hands to a hovering Ukrainian quadcopter, signaling surrender. The aircraft nods and guides him across nearly 2 kilometers of no man's land toward Ukrainian lines. Halfway, the drone releases a small package that lands beside him. Food, water, and cigarettes instead of explosives. Realizing the gift, the soldier cries and thanks the unseen operators before resuming the slow walk. Eventually, he reaches friendly troops who take him into custody, ending one of the war's strangest rescue sequences. A Ukrainian phone camera records an SPG-9 recoilless gun crew firing repeated shots at Russian positions out of view. Using radio calls from a forward observer, the gunners elevate to an unusually steep angle to exploit the extended range of high explosive projectiles. Each round arcs high, its blast visible in the distance a few seconds later, while the crew rapidly reload with the slim, fin-stabilized cartridges. The exact location is withheld for security, but the daylight footage shows the tempo of Ukrainian indirect fires. Helmet cam video from the pro-Ukraine Russian Volunteer Corps shows a fighter kneeling at the Volchansk aggregate plant. He shoulders a single-use RPOA Shmel thermobaric launcher and fires toward an entrenched Russian army position, the rocket's backblast flashing across debris. A Russian casualty lies nearby, confirming the engagement is live. The Shmel, sighted for 600 meters, delivers a fuel airburst designed to crush bunkers. Smoke rises over the factory ruins as the operator reloads another tube for the next shot. Footage released by Ukraine's border guards shows a Croatian RAK SA-12 multiple launch rocket system mounted on a Humvee, unleashing a ripple of 128mm rockets toward Russian positions near Kostiantynivka. The 12-tube launcher derived from the Yugoslav M63 Plamen fires M91 series rounds fitted with RUKM-92 and RUTIM-94 fuses. Flames streak from the rails in quick succession before the vehicle drives off to avoid counter-battery fire. No additional context is provided, but the strike demonstrates rapid shoot-and-scoot tactics in action. Thermal drone footage shows a lone Russian soldier crawling from a scorched trench moments after a Ukrainian strike. Bleeding, he staggers across open ground clutching a tourniquet and begins bandaging his leg. A quadcopter marks him with a small grenade, wounding him again and tightens the dressing. The drone returns, dropping a larger charge that detonates at his side and leaves him motionless in the dust. The camera hovers, waiting for any final twitch. Overhead video tracks 8 Russian infantrymen weaving through the hollowed-out apartments of a village outside Siversk. When a reconnaissance quadcopter spots them bunching in a stairwell, an FPV drone fitted with a PG-7 L-shaped charge dives through a window and detonates. Survivors dash across a courtyard towards another ruin, but 2 more loitering drones hover above the roofline. Each machine is piloted by K-2 battalion operators nicknamed Revenge, and carries enough explosive to punch through masonry walls. One by one the runners fall, until the feed shows only lifeless rubble. Aerial video from Ukraine's 66th Mechanized Brigade shows 6 Russian motorcyclists sprinting along a dirt track near Torskay-Lyman district. An FPV drone slams into the lead bike, shattering its frame and scattering the rider. The remaining motorcycles veer into a meadow. But a second quadcopter drops an RGD-5 grenade cluster that ignites spilled fuel. Brigade spotters later measured the strike at just 1.2 kilometers from their forward trench line. Drone and ground footage capture 4 Russian troops planting a tricolor flag on a damaged rooftop in Hrikivka, Luhansk. As the fabric unfurls, the whine of quadcopters grows. The soldiers scatter. The first munition lands beside the chimney, sending debris across the roof. A second grenade pursues them behind a garage, its blast framed from overhead. Local weather reports noted clear skies and a 10-kilometer visibility window that morning, giving Ukrainian operators unobstructed sightlines. The clip ends with dust swirling where the flag once stood. Compilation footage from the National Guard's Spartan Brigade focuses on single Russian infantrymen dispersed along a tree line near Pokrovsk. Operators tag each figure with laser range markers before launching budget FPV drones fitted with RKG-1600 charges and 3D printed fins. One target is struck while kneeling to reload. Another is hit seconds later as he drags a wounded comrade. Brigade engineers claim each drone costs under $50 yet penetrates body armor. Thermal frames at the end show no remaining heat sources. Helmet cam footage from Ukraine's 4th Special Purpose Battalion, call sign Fenrir, captures their assault on a fortified Russian position in Novosahivka, Pokrovsk. The operators move room to room using a frag-first method, a grenade tossed through each doorway, then swift entry under the burst's cover. AK pattern rifles crack while a shoulder-fired recoilless rocket thumps, blasting a barricaded corner. The clip shows Fenrir's mix of small arms and anti-structure fire as they clear the strongpoint in tight sequence, demonstrating the close-quarters methods typical of this conflict. Training day video from Ukraine's 1st Marine Battalion highlights their amphibious focus. Inflatable boats surge across a river before Marines leap ashore, rifles ready, rehearsing rapid beachhead seizures. Subsequent shots shift to an airborne segment. The same troop shoulder packs, board transport aircraft, and exit over grassy drop zones, parachutes blooming in sequence. The footage, intended as a capability reel, concentrates on insertion methods rather than combat, underscoring the battalion's dual proficiency on water and in the air for future operations planning. Overhead drone footage from Kursk records a chain of Russian armored personnel carriers rolling directly into a concealed minefield. The first detonation erupts beneath the lead vehicle, despite the plume of smoke. Following APCs drive onward and trigger additional blasts in rapid succession. When hatches fly open, dismounted troops stumble into the same danger and are struck by Ukrainian fire once clear of the wrecks. The clip ends with shattered hulls smoldering across the path, and several Russian casualties visible among the debris. Ukrainian drone video spots a Russian squad moving in open terrain and relays coordinates to a nearby mortar team. Seconds later, a round arcs into frame, its impact landing squarely among the troopers. Commentary notes how predicting a target's future position is difficult during the shell's long flight. Yet the strike combines skilled calculation with good fortune. Follow-up shots show the squad incapacitated, illustrating how a single well-placed mortar can neutralize mobile infantry despite the inherent time lag in artillery engagements. Compilation footage from Ukrainian fighters during the siege of Mariupol pieces together a single day under encirclement. The mashup shows defensive positions, frantic exchanges of small arms fire, and moments of casualty recovery amid ruined streets. Scenes are presented unfiltered. Bodies of dead Russian soldiers remain visible, mirroring combat montages once shared by troops in earlier conflicts like the global war on terror. Viewers follow the fighters' point of view as they scavenge ammunition, reposition, and brace for attack, conveying the intensity of siege warfare. Drone video recorded over Kursk shows a Russian BTR-82 rolling along a tree line and firing short bursts from its 30mm cannon towards suspected Ukrainian positions hidden in the woods. The crew appears to be spraying the entire forest edge rather than aiming at specific targets, likely because they cannot pinpoint the defenders. Each shot kicks up leaves and dust while the vehicle steadily advances, using fire to keep heads down instead of seeking confirmed hits in the shadow of distant artillery. Footage labeled Cherdash opens with a wounded Wagner commander lying in rubble beneath a hovering Ukrainian quadcopter. Paralyzed from the waist down, he props a rifle against his chest and turns the muzzle inward. The moment he squeezes the trigger is edited out, but the next frame shows him motionless. Seconds later, 2 grenades fall from the drone onto the already lifeless body, scattering debris across the crater-scarred ground. The clip ends with the quadcopter hovering silently over the scene, confirming the kill. Helmet cam video from Ukraine's 6th Ranger Regiment places viewers in a firefight in the Kursk region. Recorded in March 2025, it captures Rangers advancing through trenches and shattered earthworks while rifle fire cracks overhead. The narration claims they killed roughly a dozen Russian defenders before overrunning the position. Throughout the clip, Ukrainians can be seen stepping past the fallen enemy as they secure each bunker and continue the push. Captured footage also shows squads coordinating with shouted commands amid lingering smoke. Reconnaissance and FPV drone feeds stitched show Ukraine's 31st Mechanized Brigade halting a Russian assault near Staromayorske, Rivnopil, and Zelenpol. Drones mark advancing infantry and vehicles, then smash into the columns or direct artillery onto clustered troops. By the compilation's end, the brigade states the attacking force has been completely wiped out, with no Russians left combat effective. Each strike is shown from impact to aftermath, leaving burning wreckage and motionless figures across the fields and roads. Overhead surveillance from a Russian drone records a lone soldier entering a Ukrainian trench line in Zaporizhzhia. The camera then watches as he engages a Ukrainian defender in rare hand-to-hand combat. After a brief struggle, the Ukrainian gains the upper hand and the Russian falls. The video offers one of the few modern examples of close-quarters fighting captured in a single continuous shot, though the exact date is not provided. Both fighters disappear behind sandbags before the feed finally cuts. Drone footage released by Ukrainian troops focuses on a sprawling Russian ammunition dump. A tiny quadcopter built for roughly $50 dives toward the stacked crates and drops a grenade. A flash erupts, then sympathetic detonations race through the former bunkers, turning a $100,000 stockpile into a rolling fireball. Successive clips replay the same tactic at other sites. Low-cost electronics, 3D printed frames, and a $5 grenade outmatching mountains of shells. The video ends with operators noting the billowing smoke and readying more improvised aircraft for the next strike. Helmet-mounted cameras from Ukraine's 3rd Special Operations Regiment show operators breaching rooms in eastern Ukraine. They move swiftly along corridors, tossing grenades before entry and clearing each space with short rifle bursts. Moments earlier, they had intercepted Russian radio traffic with captured sets, using the chatter to anticipate enemy routes. The footage records several Russians being engaged at arm's length as the team advances through shattered buildings, securing each level before slipping to the next doorway. The clip concludes with the command channel, calling for a final sweep of the position. Multiple camera angles on the Siversk front capture a Russian armored column halted by hidden mines and drone strikes. When the lead vehicle erupts in flame, following carriers clog the road and are quickly disabled. Survivors tumble from the burning hulls and dash for cover. But Ukrainian border guards of the Revenge Brigade, working with the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade Edelweiss, guide kamikaze drones onto each cluster. One by one, the dismounted troops fall until, according to the Ukrainian statement, all 13 attackers lie motionless beside their vehicles. That's all the raw footage for this report. This is M6 Archive, first on the front lines. Subscribe and share if you want to see more.